Hey, welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So, I'm AJ, the happy hacker, and I'm moving away from, hacking. On my route through to worklessness, whatever that looks like. I don't know what it looks like. I'm interested in learning new things, and so what can I take from my previous career hacking? Let's describe what that is in a little bit, but what can I use from that to learn something entirely new? How am I going to go about that? What's going to be my sort of process, if you want to think about it that way? I think of everything in quite a systematic way. I have to do that because I'm not the smartest person alive, that's for sure. I'm a bit of a D student, so I have to break things down into a way that I can understand them. And maybe you do too, or maybe you're a much smarter person, maybe you think of things differently. If you do, please tell everyone down in the comments how you learn something new. I am very much a sort of, a first principle sort of person. What does that mean? I have to break things down to their first principles. I have to understand the reason why something works the way that it does. That's just the way I approach everything. I've used the methodology throughout my career of breaking everything down into 4 separate categories. The first category is the most important one. It's people. So, which people are involved in this? What personality types are they? How are they involved? What are their motivations? So in the case of learning something new, I would look to say, well, who are the experts in this area? I'm not an expert in anything particularly, apart from maybe cybersecurity. But I will learn from an expert, so I want to shortcut the process as much as I can by identifying the right people to learn from. Now, you can do this DIY if you want to. You can take the time out to, get a spreadsheet and break down the subject, maybe get some syllabus from, academic institutions, maybe university, something like that, something you want to learn. Maybe go to Coursera, maybe go to some of the other MOOCs and get it that way. That's certainly one route. Break down the subject yourself into its constituent parts. That is one way of doing it. I have done it in the past. The downside to that, if there is one, well, the upside is that it's relatively cost effective. On the other hand, it does take your time and effort, right? So you have to spend the time to basically break down the subject into its minor points, basically. And the problem with that is you don't know what you don't know when you're learning something new. So there's a chance you might miss something fundamental, which, you might end up having to redo at some later point, and your whole understanding of a particular subject could be skewed because of it. Yeah. So people is the first part of that. The second part of that is process. So what processes are involved? Yeah. And in my line of thinking, life is made up, as we've already talked about, just one series of decisions after the other, right? Yes, no, will I, won't I? And we talked about those decisions being, drivers from literally, what will I have for lunch? Have I got enough fuel in the car? When do I need to leave to pick up, my children? Those sorts of basic decisions. And everyone has their own process of sort of working through those. Some people are quite chaotic, they leave it to last second. Some people are very much planners. They want everything, bullet by bullet by bullet by bullet, And I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I would say, I'm going to misquote the great Bruce Lee here, but if it works, use it. And if it doesn't, lose it. So I only want the process steps, if you want to say it that way, that are going to be effective, that are going to be core components, right? So I've identified the people, I've identified the process that I need to follow. Then there will be the technology. So what is it I'm trying to learn? So the technology might be supporting whatever it is I'm trying to learn. So I might be doing it through, through mobile, or through your cell phone, through your computer, through your TV, maybe an audiobook. Is that technology we're talking about? Or are we actually trying to learn the technology? And what does that look like? So we might be trying to learn, I don't know, LLMs, right? So large language models. We might be looking at places like Hugging Face, and we might be sort of breaking down, how these models are put together, how they're trained, and, we might get into the technical details of how that's actually hosted and so forth, right? So it depends what we mean by technology, but technology can be one of at least two things there. And again, one of the most important criteria, so, people process technology is a well understood sort of breakdown of, approaching a tech project. But what most people forget, and I've added it on, is information. So it's PPTI, people, process, technology, and information. And the people and the information are the two most important parts. Now, that sounds a bit strange coming from someone with a technology background like me, but technology is just a tool, right? The process can be adapted, okay? But the people and the information typically don't change. I think I talked in one of the previous videos about the fundamentals of what hasn't changed. We all feel like we're discombobulated because things are changing at such a rapid pace. But actually, human nature hasn't changed, probably, at least it's Bible times, if you read the Bible. The same sort of traits you see, the same behaviors you see, the same motivations, the same drives you see, the same outcomes you see. And that's apparent all the way through history. So people really haven't changed that much. And the information that you're trying to learn, that will change. But it's important to understand the key principles that you can derive from that information. You could read dozens and dozens and dozens of textbooks, but if you had to boil it down, if you, for instance, put into ChatGPT, please tell me what the key points are from reference X. Yeah, it would summarize it, and you say, could you summarize it into 10 points? Those 10 key principles probably underpin the entirety of that work. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to that point real quick. And obviously I have learned a lot of subjects, particularly technology subjects, before the age of ChatGPT. So it's far easier now to sort of boil things down to their absolute, nuts, as I would say. So you really want to understand what the key principles are of what it is you're trying to learn. And then from there, you can drill down, think of that as a 60,000 foot view, and then you can drill down into the detail. I call the 60,000 foot view the level 0, right? So you've got level 0. Think of it like an elevator. So you've got like the top floor, let's say it's a 40 story, penthouse. You've got the penthouse view. You can see the landscape. You can see where certain things lie in that landscape. Yeah. You might go down another level. You can see a bit more detail on the landscape. So I call that level 1, and it's reverse order basically. And you can go down as far as you want to go from like the top to the bottom of a subject, and you get right down to the actual bits and bytes in my particular subject in technology. And by the way, that's not what I'm going to be trying to learn here. I'm going to be staying away from technology. I've learned enough technology to last several lifetimes probably. So that's not what this is about, but it's the approach that I have to breaking a subject down. And hopefully that's useful for you. If you've got a better way of doing things, then please feel free to share those in the comments below, because I'm all ears. Always trying to get better, always trying to iterate, always trying to improve upon what we've got as a starting point. But hopefully that's reasonably useful. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about what I'd like to learn and how I intend to go about learning it. So thanks for listening, and until next time, don't forget, please like, subscribe, and comment. Have a wonderful day, and speak to you soon.